so it's November 2nd. It's election day and I'm not voting. Oh no, you say. Why are you not voting? Your duty as a civics person, as a person of this United States, is to vote, right? That's the will of the people, right? We've got a democracy that only works if everyone is voting, if everyone has a voice. And if the good people don't use their voice, then how are we supposed to have a government that actually runs with the good people voting? And if some women vote and not all women vote, then those women who believe in men taking care of the world and trusting men to take care of the world and trusting that the men know what they need to know in order to vote correctly, then we have a whole bunch of women who are voting differently, or putting into those votes. So why am I not voting? Well, part of it's trust, and part of it's knowing that my vote doesn't really count. So knowing how elections work, that my vote really doesn't count. I believe it's just something to appease the people, to say, hey, we're gonna let you have a voice in your democracy. I find that trusting my democracy is a better blankie to carry around than carrying around one that I actually have a say in what's happening around me, considering the fact that if I had a say in what was happening around me, we wouldn't be doing it this way. So I tend to just trust and survive with whatever the people say, or with whatever the country says or the government says. And sometimes I have to take a stand, and sometimes I just get to tolerate. But I believe in both the left and the right legs and brain being used. In fact, I don't believe that a government can actually survive without doing equal amounts of work on the left side and the right side at any one time. So if you're just trying to put all of the weight on one side for 4 years or 8 years and not use that other side, or not take into account that other side and where they're coming from, then you kind of don't work very well, which we've kind of figured out. I don't think that we figured out how to do it well, but we figured out that we can't do it well when we don't work with the other side. So, but anyway, today's election day, and that's that. But it kind of brings me up to feminism and what I'm seeing around the country with guys cutting off their penises and trying to make vaginas out of their bodies, dressing up like girls, girls that are trying to strap on penises to themselves so that they can have sex with other girls. I'm seeing some very confused people, actually a lot of really confused people about who they are and what they were made for, and embracing themselves and loving themselves for who they are, embracing who they were made to be. I see a lot of very confused people, like really confused. I see a lot of very confused moms as to what do I do with these kids that are growing up in a world where guys want to be girls and girls want to be guys, and they're trying to switch roles, and girls want to work and guys want to work, and everybody's working and nobody's at home taking care of the kids, or they throw them to a daycare or something where they get hurt or they're being taught weird stuff. And yeah, you guys are messed up, like really messed up. This feminism movement, God has a humor. He is really humorous. You wanted to be a guy, so now look at what guys are like. I want a vagina, and girls are like, I want a penis. And you can now go to a store and buy a strapped-on penis for a girl so that she can have sex with a guy or with another girl. I mean, it's comical. It's actually quite comical. If it wasn't so sad, I would have to be laughing my butt off at you guys, but it's sad. Like, you guys are really messed up. And you think that this is better than the 1940s and 1950s? I don't know where to put in this video that you forgot all the good stuff that was going on in the 1940s and 1950s. And maybe they just only told you the bad stuff. You know, the moment where you're like, oh, I wish I could go to work instead of, you know, being with the kids all day because, you know, it's been a hectic day. Like, sorry, but there was way more good stuff than bad stuff. So in October 1st, 2020, I decided to prove it. I was living my worst life up until that point. My husband was watching TV all the time, didn't want to go out, didn't want to talk. You know, he was just engrossing himself in the TV. And I was working from home, you know, in my sweats and, you know, sometimes not even getting dressed, you know, doing my editing in the office away from everybody else. I was hibernating. He was hibernating. We were just falling apart. We weren't eating meals together. We weren't doing anything together. We were starving for real life. And so I said, what is real life? What is it that I need to do that I'm not doing? And I wanted to change the world to the 1950s, right? So I knew, hey, they gave us this template. They told us how to do this in the 1940s, 1950s, and we're not doing it. So I tried to get everybody else to change, and nobody would change. And I finally, suddenly, you know, God was like, or, you know, I thought, wow, they're scared to change. They're scared to do it backwards because everybody's fighting for us to go forwards and let these girls be guys and guys be girls and accept them and love them and kind of laugh at them behind your own back in your mind. You're laughing while you're, I love you. You're doing so well. Oh my gosh, you want to put a penis in there? Okay, well here, we'll make you some products so you can put a penis. And even though you're a girl, we can make something just to let you strap on it so you can have sex with another girl. Sure. And we're laughing our butts off behind closed curtains in our brains. But that being said, I decided that because everybody was so scared of doing it, that I needed to go first. So I took out my 1940s and 50s manuals, my etiquette books. I took out my how to dress, all of these videos that they're now putting on YouTube where you can actually learn how to do this the correct way. And I applied it. 12 different resolutions for us since October 1st. And literally within 24, 48 hours, the world around me changed. It was as if for the first time in my life, I saw my power to change the world by changing myself. I started dressing like a woman. I started acting like a woman. I started using proper speech. I started behaving like a 1940s, 1950s woman. I wore, even at times, my pillbox hats and my gloves, and I dressed in a dress every single day. And all of a sudden, people started opening doors for me. People started having conversations with me, starting conversations. My world opened up in a way that I never knew was possible. And I couldn't believe the difference. It was amazing. It was like stepping back in time to a world that was pristine. And you, the world became that way. It responded to somebody doing it that way in the same way. They were mirroring basically what I was doing. And I saw a respect that I haven't seen in the United States since I was a child, a little child. I hadn't seen that in a really long time. And I couldn't believe how much my behavior changed the behavior of the world. It was incredible. So this year, and of course it's now November 2nd, so I've been doing this now for about 33 days, is about balance. So it's about working 40 hours and playing, 4 vacations a year and going out on the days that we have off and really respecting my spiritual walk, going back to church. Sure, you don't want to go to church? It's fine. You want to learn it in real life? You can see what's happening in the world when they try to find out why somebody tells them not to do it by doing something wrong. In church, you learn what they did wrong and what happened when they did it wrong. So you guys will be in textbooks. You will be famous at some point. They will be able to look back in history and say, You remember that feminist thing where the girls tried to be guys? Remember how that turned out? Yeah, pretty funny, huh? Yeah, we're not going to do that. So, basically getting everything back in balance. So spiritual life, work life, play life. It's so important to play. And women, if you're wanting to be out there in the world and you want to work anyway, you don't want to raise your children, you don't want to be that stay-at-home mom that actually has an organized home that is right on top of every single thing, that's there 24/7 for your kids, and you try to go outside and do a man's job and doing it the same way a man did it, you've lost an opportunity to do something incredible in the world. A man's response to conflict is to either wall it off or kill it. That's their response. A woman's response to conflict is go outside and play. What did we know about, as women, that happens when you take two enemies and you tell them to go play? What do women know? What have we been practicing for the last 1,000 years, right? You take two kids that don't like each other and you put them in a situation where they're playing, and they have to play. What happens? They become friends? How did that happen? All I said was go out and play. All I said was, you guys go out and play. You're getting to be, too much. Go play. How important is play? Women know if we start playing, we get really mad at our husbands, right? What happened to my playtime? I'm not playing enough. I'm washing dishes, I'm scrubbing floors, I'm doing all this housework, but where did my play go? Well, you got unbalanced. It's not because you're a woman. It's not because you don't get to go out and work. It's because you forgot the playtime. You forgot to schedule yourself playtime. 4 vacations a year. 1 date night per week. Just you and hubby. Just you having fun. Right? Just the two of you having fun. Right? We told you that. That was part of that home economics course that you decided to stop doing at school. Those employers, we'll just pay for 1 week vacation, if that. We don't need the playtime. Yeah, how'd that go? Is that working pretty well for you? No? Really? Why not? Huh, you want to work them to the bone until they're just dead? Do they like working for you? Do they even like working? What kind of products you making? How's that going? Not so well, huh? Yeah, playtime. It's important! Who knew? We did. Yeah, we knew that. We forget about it because the work has to get done and we don't think of play as being work. We should, though. Shouldn't we? Play is actually more important than work. Yeah, believe it or not, it is. Playtime actually inspires you to work harder so that you have more money to spend on vacation. Incredible. You work harder when you're working. You're willing to put in those extra hours because you really want to go on that dolphin excursion in Hawaii. And you don't have the money to do it unless you put in a couple of extra hours and unless your boss is really happy with you to get that bonus. Which, by the way, what happened to bonuses? Didn't think those were important? Didn't think that little tip was important? How's it working for you? Did you go long enough to tell? Not working so well? That Christmas bonus, huh? It's kind of important. You're not doing it the way they were doing it in the 1940s and 50s, then all you're doing is finding out why they did it that way. That's the only thing you're doing. That's the only thing God's letting you do. He's saying, you don't want to do it that way? Let me show you. I'll show you why you're doing it that way. Right? You're going to mess it up so that the next generation that comes can look at what you did and made the mess that you did and do it the right way. We just used you as a sacrifice. Thank you very much. The next generation will love you for it because they will do it the right way. And they'll know why next time, why they're doing it the right way. So, anyway, that's my election day rant for the day. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And maybe you learned something. Maybe you still want to go out there and say, I can do it better. Go right ahead and try.